All right. So almost 10 o'clock. We're going to start. All right. Welcome, everybody. If you are here live, I would love it. Absolutely love it if you put live in the comments. And if you're watching the replay, which I hope you're doing too, I still look at these drop replay in the comments. I'm always curious. Speaking of being curious, while you're at it, why don't you put in where you're from? Actually, where you're watching from. So sometimes I get people across the country. Sometimes I just get people, locally. And also, too, could somebody just put a thumbs up if my microphone is working correctly? Just want to make sure. Thumbs up if my microphone is working. Bueller. Well, I'm going to assume my microphone is working, so I'm going to keep going. So this is what we're going to do today. It's just going to be simple. Awesome. Thanks, Mark. It's going to be simple. It's going to be very practical. I'm going to go through some things in conversation-wise, and then I'm actually going to demo some stuff towards the end. And it's going to be things you can use immediately. So not theory, no fluff, just legitimate good stuff. And I'm a big fan of using real systems that can actually implement. Now, going through this, you may have questions, which is completely fine. I would want to respect your time. So if you wouldn't mind just putting your questions in the comments, and then I'm gonna guess there's time at the end. So there's gonna be time at the end, and I'll go through the questions and answer them the best that I can. So again, just put your questions in the comments as we go through. All right, everybody. Put on your thinking caps. Let me ask you one thing. Have you ever had a day where you worked all day long? You're answering your messages, maybe showed some homes, but at the end of the day, you thought, what did I actually accomplish today? Type me if that's you. And don't be embarrassed. This is a no judgment zone. And I've actually been in that zone many times. And I couldn't imagine if those that have kids, because that's even crazier. So here's the truth about, here's the truth about what most people don't say out loud. Agents really aren't lazy in general. They're not unmotivated. They're pretty, all entrepreneurs, but they're really stuck in reaction mode. Excuse me, a little bit of water. So they're stuck in reaction mode. Let me walk through a normal day for a real estate agent. And I'm going to say this is probably 99% of the people watching this. You wake up, check your phone. There's a text. You respond. There's an email. You respond. Then something pops up. Maybe a Facebook message, maybe a DM, maybe it's some spam from me. And then something else. And before you know it, it's 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and your day got decided for you. That happens way too often in our industry because we all love the fact of we're entrepreneurs, we get to own our own schedule, but honestly, very few actually own your schedule, and we'll talk about that today. So let me ask you this. Put an A or a B in the comments. A, you feel in control of your day, so you know what's happening, you know what's going on. B, your day controls you. Drop A or B. And I'm going to use my favorite word. B is sometimes your day is kind of a shit show. And don't worry, again, no judgment. I'm going to give you some ideas on how to improve that as we go through anyways. Mark, appreciate your honesty. Thank you. And it's very common for our day to control us. And when I say our day, I typically mean our clients. Everything else controls our day. So, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Yep, Dustine, awesome, same way. So I'm going to talk about that. Julie, yeah, here, see? So thank God you're here. So again, I'm going to reiterate, you guys aren't lazy. Most agents are very focused, but they're really in reaction mode. So again, let me paint this picture. You wake up, check your phone, respond to texts, scroll a little because we all have to see what's happening on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. You hop into your email account and then something pops up. Life happens, right? Life happens. It all happens. And if you're a parent, even crazier. Now you're off your plan. And then suddenly it's 6 o'clock at night and you're just kind of in chaos. So it's not a person problem. It's a system problem. You're inconsistent because you're not having a system. And I'm going to walk you through that. So here you go. No structure equals no consistency. Imagine your doctor's office or your hairstylist or whatever had no structure. People just showed up at the doctor's office when they wanted to, willy-nilly, no appointments, nothing, you couldn't call. That is going to be a horrible business model, right? So it's not a motivation problem. It's not a discipline problem. It's a systems problem. And if you know me, systems is my jam. Love my systems. So without systems, and this is going to be most of us, and I was there at one point, you wake up every day and you rebuild your business from scratch. Let that sink in. You wake up every day and then you have to rebuild your business from scratch without systems. Not sure if you own a restaurant, but let's say you do. Imagine you're a restaurant owner. Every morning you had to rebuild the kitchen, rewrite the entire menu, rehire the full staff. Sounds chaotic, right? Well, guess what? Most real estate agents are doing that every day. Not a good way to do it. So today we're going to simplify this. There's 6 major systems across every modern agent needs. Now, when I talk about systems, I'm not saying like you need to have Boomtown, Google Docs, a specific system. It's going to broken down broader systems. But then at the end, I'm going to actually demo some of the cool things that helps my business move smoothly. And again, if you know me, things like I love to automate. I love to look busy. I love to not look busy, but I am busy, if that makes sense. So here's the interesting thing is most agents have pieces of these 6 systems, right? But they're not connected. Imagine if you're a plumber and you're going to put a sink in your house and you have to run the plumbing from the basement up to your bathroom, whatever. Well, you have the pipes, you got your sink, you got your water valve. But if you're putting your pipes willy-nilly, not connecting, maybe not tightening down correctly, what happens is when you turn the water on, the water may not even go up to the sink, first off, but it's probably going to leak. You're going to have leaks here, leaks there, and it's not efficient, and you're probably get upset, right? So you need to have your systems connected because that's where typically the breakdown happens. So the first system, again, lead gen, because this is where everything starts. Most agents rely on, I hope somebody reaches out. Maybe if I post a just sold listing and pray, somebody will respond to me. You randomly get a referral because you ran into somebody. This is not a system. And I've been there. This is not a system. This is called gambling. A system means leads are coming in consistently. You know where the leads are coming from. And lastly, you can predict the pipeline. I'm actually going to show you a pipeline that I run a little bit later. But what a pipeline is you should know when a lead comes in, what's the next step and the next step and the next step. You need to have a pipeline that can move your leads through the system automatically. Because I don't know about you, but I love having extra time in my day. And even if it's to walk our dogs or build some Legos, I love time. So I was in my Edina office and the agent popped in and she was really excited. She's like, I had 3 closings last month, but I have nothing this month or next month. So that's not market conditions. That's not interest rates. That's not politics. That's inconsistent input. So I'm going to ask you again, if you feel, and be honest, do you feel your leads are consistent coming in or are they completely random? Put consistent, put C or R. I'm not going to make you spell consistent, right? C or R, how your leads are coming in. And I'm drinking water. Oh, maybe not even getting leads. That's even worse. So the next system is going to be a CRM. If you don't have a CRM, you're not running a business. You can't run a restaurant without having some sort of bookkeeping, QuickBooks or something. Yep, Dustin, random. I hear you. We're going to fix that. CRM, you need a CRM. And let's be honest, most agents have one. Either you've invested in one or your brokerage or team's given you one. You just don't use it. Or worse, you're relying on your own memory to track your leads. That is like the worst thing you can do. And I don't know about you. I'm 51 years old. My memory's good, but I don't want to have that mess up in my system. It's chaos. So your CRM is your lifeblood. And when I say CRM, I don't mean Excel spreadsheet. I don't mean a tablet that you write things down. I mean something that's going to be consistent and accurate. So think of this. If this is you, put a 1 in the comments. I think I forgot to follow up with somebody. Oh, shoot, I forgot. I got to text that person about X, Y, and Z. If you've ever had a lead close a deal with somebody else because you didn't follow up, you can't get mad at the lead. You can't get mad at the other agent. You can only get mad at yourself because you need to have a system. And when you have a system of your database, it's going to take a lot of weight off your brain, by the way. Trust me. You want to be able to go on vacation and have your business work for you. Then the follow-up system. This is where the finances, this is the money's made in the follow-up. They always say fortune's in the follow-up, right? You've heard it 1,000 times. But most agents run their follow-up system like, I'll text them later. I'll remember to text them next week, or I'll check on them in 6 months. I've heard and probably said all of these at one point in my life. But then guess what? Life happens. You forget, maybe that Post-it note that you said to call Mark in 6 months, maybe that fell somewhere and is gone. Life happens. And I can guarantee everyone here has had this happen. Oh, I should follow up with them. Oh, maybe I should contact them. Well, that's not a system. That's complete luck. You're just relying on other people to remind you to follow up with your people. That, again, is not a system. It's luck. A system means happens automatically. It happens consistently. And it happens without thinking. I love to be sleeping at night or being on a webinar with you fine folks, but having my systems work on my behalf. I don't have to follow up with my systems, with my leads, because the system's doing it for me. It takes a lot of weight off you. And also it's making sure you're consistent. Now, here's a truth bomb. And I want you to, again, be honest. Have you ever lost a deal because of your follow-up? Meaning, have you found out down the road that somebody closed a house, or maybe a past client of yours worked with somebody else, and you lost that deal because of your follow-up? If you did, put a yes in there. And I'm going to put a yes in there too, because that happened to me in the past, and that sucks. Follow-up is key. Thanks, Mark. Thanks for being honest. Yeah, it burns, but you can only blame ourselves. You can't blame anybody else. The next system is the visibility. This is your marketing. This is how you're presented across the world, right? Because people are searching for you every day on Google, on social media, on maps. And guess what? Even now with AI, AI is doing so much work for us now that if you're not showing up in the digital world, your visibility is gone. And if they can't find you, they're not going to hire you. So the question you need to think of, are you showing up? When somebody Googles, if you ever Googled yourself, do you show up online? If you don't, you're missing this visibility system. Do you have a social media account? No, you don't have a visibility system. You need to show up where your clients are, because if you're not, everybody else is. So I'm going to tell you a personal story. Every year, I close 2 to 3 deals just strictly off Google. I'm not paying any extra money, but people will search realtors near me or best realtors in Bloomington. I live in Bloomington. My marketing's Bloomington, and I'm consistently either in the top 3. I've only sold 2 homes in Bloomington, but I pop up as the Bloomington guy because of my Google. So you do need to have a Google presence. And I just taught a class yesterday on Google business page optimization. If you don't have that, let's talk. There's actually a freebie in the pinned comments. If you click on that, there's a freebie. It's a Google checklist for your business. Check it out. You should do that. And there's others who are constantly posting on social media. They look extremely busy, but they're getting no traction. They're getting no business. The difference is systems. You need to have a system. Clint, yes, I'll send a replay out for you. Good luck on your appointment, by the way. So then there's a conversion system. This is where you take your leads, conversations, and turn them into clients. So you get a lead. Now what? If you don't convert it, nothing happens. Conversion is process, the confidence to close, and the communication in the whole process. So you have 2 agents, same lead. One agent converts, one agent doesn't. The difference isn't luck, it's structure. This agent has a CRM, follow-up, all those things in order, automated and with reminders. This agent over here is relying on her memory. Post-it notes. Doesn't work. So you need to have a conversion system, and I'm going to show you a bunch of these cool things here in a little bit. And then lastly, this is the silent killer. Structure. Control your day, or it controls you. If you don't own your schedule, somebody else will. Let's go back to doctors. If I want to see my doctor right now, the odds of me doing that are 0. They have structure. They have a calendars. So most agents wake up and they think, what should I do today? That's a problem. I worked with an agent recently, and she's like, I'm busy all day long, but nothing ever moves forward, right? She's just busy work, busy work, busy work. So I sat her down, gave her some structure, focused on her Google Calendar and things like that. And then within weeks, everything changed. Stress level went down, business went up, and her consistency was across the board. So think of it and be honest. Does your day run you, or do you run your day? Comment. Does your day run you, or do you run your day? If I go into somebody's calendar and look at their day, is it structured out, and do you follow it? Or you just gonna run your day? If I hear another agent say I work 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, I am going to go crazy. We don't own your schedule. My big thing, my goal for 2025 was structure. I was giving up so much of my time and it wasn't running my day, and it was just pure chaos and it stressed me out. So then I started implementing calendars, and I'm going to show you some cool calendar features. Thanks for being honest, Dustin. You're amazing. I'm going to show you some calendars and how to run your day. It's super easy. So now here's the fun part. And I'm flying through this. So I'm going to get done early today. So we'll have plenty of time for questions if you have any. So we're going to make this real. We're going to break down some certain things that I use on a daily basis. I'm not selling anything. I am not promoting anything. I am just showing you what I use on a consistent basis. And I actually help other people use this system. Systems, I should say, there's multiple, but I'm going to break it down because this is where things start to click. You kind of start seeing visually, like, what does it look like? What do the systems look like? What do I need to do in my day to make things work correctly? So you kind of have to bear with me a little bit here because I'm going to be swapping some screens here because I'm going to show you some things. So the first thing is I'm going to show you a pipeline. And the system I'm going to show you on is Go High Level. If you're using Lofty, Follow Up Boss, Boomtown, there's so many out there, Ylopo, whatever. there's a lot of these out there that have the pipelines. So if you have a CRM, you should know what your pipeline is. And what a pipeline is when a lead comes in as a new lead, you should know how the lead moves through your system. And if it's done correctly, it should be automated, right? That's even better. So I'm going to show you my screen, my big head. All right, so please comment. Can you see this? Can you see the screen? And it says free up on there, but really what it is, it's go high level. I've just white labeled it as free up. Okay. So I'm gonna look at my other screen here so I can see. Okay, cool. So this is my buyer pipeline, right? I have a buyer. I'm gonna zoom in here so you can kind of see. I got a buyer named Darth Vader. He came in as a new lead. So with this system, when a lead comes in, I have a workflow triggered that's going to nurture this lead, right? The primary goal for this new lead nurture is to move it over to appointment set. Because then if you're holding appointments, you're actually converting deals, in my opinion. I think everybody, as soon as you're in front of somebody, you're going to close a deal. Most people work with the first person they talk to. So this is where it's like you need to have a good follow-up system to work it through. Then you can move this lead on through. So let's say it goes to buyer signed. I have a workflow that's triggered for that. But this process, so your nice visual, it's a nice visualization of where your lead is at in the system. And I built it out all the way, goes to inspection, appraisal, final walkthrough, and closed. So what this cool system is I have it built out. When you go to under contract, it triggers a workflow that sends them an email and a text that says, hey, congratulations, you're under contract. I used to do all this stuff manually. Now it does automatically, because we all know it's the same, pretty much the same text, the same email that goes out, and then when they go into contract, there's also an email and a video that goes out, what to expect about the inspection. So you move them to inspection, triggers that workflow, and it says, all right, here's a little video about the inspection. And these workflows aren't long. They're just maybe 2 or 3 contacts, but it's the same thing I've been doing for years. If you're doing the same thing more than twice, you should have a system for it, because you're going to forget if you don't have a system. And yeah, keep moving them forward. And and the cool thing is once they're towards the end, I'm going to slide it over. Once they hit closed, it triggers another workflow that puts them into my long-term nurturing. Because I don't want to forget Darth Vader. Darth Vader seems like a pretty nice guy. I want to make sure Darth Vader is in my sphere for as long as I'm alive or he's alive. Because every closed deal, that lead is worth $117,000 in gross commissions to you. So whenever you close a deal, put in your head, I have a future with this person to potentially get $117,000 in commissions through their own deals, their referrals. So you do need to have a nurture system. And this triggers it. Also, what it does when it goes closed, it triggers a review. Review goes to Google. I don't send my reviews to Facebook. I don't send my reviews to Zillow. Don't care. Google. Because people are going to Google you. And if you have a very strong Google presence, you're going to get deals. And here's a little truth bomb for you. If you don't believe that every client Googles you, you're mistaken. When I get referred from a great friend of mine, and if they refer me to somebody else, that somebody else is going to Google me. And if I don't show up, they have no confidence in me. Or if I show up, but I've got one review, maybe my headshot's that silhouette. So again, tangent there, but you need to have reviews. So this is a pipeline. Most CRMs have a pipeline. If you don't know if your CRM has a pipeline, set up a time. We'll go through it. You do need to have it, because then you're not going to drop the ball. I can log into here and I can see everybody who's in every stage. This is just a demo account. I want fake names, but I can see who's all in here. I also have a seller pipeline, right? Same thing. I move people through, and it makes my life so much easier because it just triggers the texts and emails that I would normally forget. Now it just automatically goes. So again, this system is called Go High Level. If you want to learn more, if you actually on the pinned comment, it's under my tools. I have a little thing about Go High Level. I'm a big fan of it. I've incorporated it into our team. It's a one-stop shop. So big fan. Okay. So then let's go back. Sorry. I'm going to share my other screen. And again, too, if you have comments, just feel free to drop them in and I'll get to them when I can. So then next, we're going to go to workflow, the follow-up. Great, you got a lead. Now what, right? If you ever said, I'll follow up later, or if somebody asks you, I don't know what happens, you need to pay attention, because follow-up fortune's in the follow-up. My favorite story is I had a lead in my system for 465 days. I called, I texted, I emailed, I sent bomb videos. They got daily market report or daily buyers, and then also had monthly market reports. Never responded to anything of mine. Never. And I'm like, this person's probably dead. But with my system, I could see when they'd come back on. Oh, they read the email. Oh, they're looking at houses. Oh, so they're still alive. They just want to talk to me, which I'm fine with. The 465th day, I get a phone call. It's Efren Maldonado. And he's like, hey, Dave, thanks for staying in touch with me. We're ready to sell our house and buy another one. So nurturing that lead for that long, that was over $1 million in sales. Put in the comments, would a follow-up system help you? Yes or no? Also, you want a follow-up system that runs without you. You don't have to babysit a follow-up system. You don't want to do that because that is not healthy. You need to have the system work on your behalf. Yeah. Honesty is the best policy. So I'm going to hop over here. Now I'm going to show you back in Go High Level a sample workflow. Now, so when I talked about the buyer leads, and I'm going to show you, we actually have, how do you collect your leads? Like this is like a Facebook lead form. It could be anything. I'm going to show you differently. But what it is when a buyer requests a list. So maybe you put a post out there. Here's all the homes for sale in Arden Hills under $250,000, right? So you make this list and then you have people sign up. And once you get their email and phone number, it triggers a campaign. And again, this is I can send Facebook messages, Instagram DMs, I can drop voicemails, I can call, I can text, all these cool things. And so does every other CRM. We use Follow Up Boss for our team. I've been using Lofty for years. They have awesome campaigns. You just got to get people in there to let the system work and work them over, because a lot of people don't know that you think they're ready right now, but they may be ready in 6-7 months, maybe a year. The average lead is 18 months to go from lead, sign up to close. So put that in perspective. But what this workflow does, it just works them through. It waits 3 minutes. It prompts me to give them a call. Waits 4 hours, sends them a text. So this is more of an urgent one. Email. And this can go on forever, right? Look at this. If this is making you salivate, it should, because you need to have a workflow. Because imagine you trying to remember all of this stuff, trying to text this person, trying to do this, trying to do that. Nope. Automation. You need to have automation. And you're probably thinking too, oh, David, automation's so impersonal. You can actually make these feel somewhat personal, but here's the real deal. Your lead doesn't really care about how you are. If they're asking for a buyer list, they want that buyer list. They don't care if it's you're calling them and say, hey, this is David. Would you like this buy? They don't want that. They want the buyer list. So quicker, the better. You have to automate. So workflows or campaigns are the fantastic way. And I'm going to show you behind the curtain a little bit here. I've built out, if you ever use Go High Level or want to, let me know. I'll share some of these with, but I have all these workflows built out that when somebody does something, it triggers events. They fill out a form, it triggers an event. If you guys ever came to any of my classes or even this class when you signed up, right? You signed it was a landing page, which I built in here. The lead form I built in here. The follow-up and reminders I built up in here. So everything talks. There's no leakage going on. It's just talk. Love Go High Level. I could talk forever on that one. So this is workflows, and you need to have multiple workflows. I've got some for sellers. I've got some for buyers, running events. The more of these you have going, the more time you're going to have to do the money producing things. Running events, going out and talking to people, having coffee. Those are the things that we're really good at in person. My lead doesn't really care if I personally send them a text that says, here's your homes for sale today. They don't care. So you have to automate. I can't say that enough. So the next thing I'm going to show you back in Go High Level, and again, most CRMs have this, you can build your own forms. Now, when you build a form, forms are awesome because somebody just fills it out. And when they fill this form out, it automatically dumps them into a workflow, into that campaign. So they're getting those reminders and getting all that cool stuff. It's just an awesome way to collect leads, having forms. And when you're thinking of forms, I could make this form 5 pages long. Don't. Simplicity is the best. If you put so much content on this form, they're not going to fill it out. I mean, who wants to do homework, right? They want to do first name, what's your time frame to buy? They can select phone, email. And I would also put at the bottom the little checkbox that you'll receive. They approve of receiving texts and SMS just to avoid the spamming stuff that's going on. But find out building forms, Jot form. People use that a lot. You can build Google Forms, for Christ's sake. There's a lot of things you can do. Just the biggest thing is when forms if you're building forms in different systems, you have to make sure they talk to each other. So again, if Go High Level was a person, I'd marry it because it has everything I need in one place. And I'm not selling it. I'm just saying, if you're looking for a really good system, look at Go High Level. Oops, sorry. Wrong. This is the form here. Sorry, guys. This is the simple form. Simple the better. First name, what's their time frame, phone, email, buy, or register. As soon as they click register, it goes into that workflow. I don't have to do anything. It just works for me. Then as soon as that person responds back, then I know they're ready. Or maybe I have extra time. Maybe I'll reach out to them. But these systems are fantastic because you're just speed the lead. You're getting ahead of the curve. And a lot of people do their research early. So if you're just saying like, this is why Google's so important, because sellers don't go on to Zillow. Sellers go on to Google. So you need to have forms that they can fill out, things like that. And I can show you how to do that later. But forms are the best way. Emails and phone numbers are gold in our industry. Because then you can send people event invites. You can send them market updates. You can send maybe, like in Bloomington, I have a newsletter that goes out and people can sign up for it. And it's just a newsletter for Bloomington. So the goal of these is to build your database. Put people in there and let the system nurture them for you. If you had 200 leads and you had to manually nurture them, you're going to forget and you're not going to do a good job. But if you have a system in place, boom. And then the last system I'm going to show you, this is also in Go High Level, but you can do a Calendly, do anything else, is you need to have a calendar. Because this is for a free real estate consultation. You want to avoid any sort of friction. You want to make things as easy as possible. You want to catch them in the moment. If you have to say, hey, call me for a free home val, call me to do a free home assessment. They're not going to, the old people will do it, but no, you have to have systems in place where they can just click. So April 8th, 2 p.m., select information, schedule a meeting. That's how easy it is. And I have lived in, oh God, sorry, I keep forgetting to share my screen. This is the calendar, free real estate consultation. So you can see, and it syncs with my Google Calendar. This one's not synced because it's a dummy account, but it syncs with your Google Calendar. And what it does is if I'm not available at 3, it won't show the 3 o'clock. But then I want to avoid any friction with my leads. So if a lead says, hey, actually, I want to do a free real estate consultation. Maybe this is at the bottom of your email signature. Maybe this is in your email newsletter. Maybe this is on your website or whatever it is. You're driving people to book time with you. Own your schedule. So then they're going to say, I want 4 o'clock on the 14th. Select. They put their name, boom, schedule a meeting. Once you hit schedule meeting, and this is just like Calendly, it's going to go onto your Google Calendar. It's going to block it off. And it's going to tell you Darth Vader, his phone number and email, scheduled an appointment with you. So this is the cool thing is, and I'm going to, little participation here. Do you feel a calendar, like a scheduling calendar, would be good for your business? And you could have multiple calendars. Home seller evaluation, buyer consults. I have things for like coaching. I have things that I'm talking about AI. So I have multiple calendars. Yeah, Julie. Yep. So calendars are so important because it gets your day back. Again, 2025, I was implementing calendars. And I tell you, life is good when I wake up and I can see people had booked times. And the cool thing is too, when they book a time in here, it triggers a workflow. Calendly, yeah. So Mark, and I'm going to talk to you too, Mark. So with your Calendly, when they schedule, does it trigger a workflow with reminders? Or is it just a schedule? Because you want reminders, especially if you're dealing with busy people, they tend to forget. So text and email reminders are super key. So yeah, calendars. I'm going to go off script because if you know me, this is who I am. So here's my Google business profile. On here, I have book online. When somebody books online, they get this. If they want to book 30-minute meeting, 60-minute meeting, an online business review, a free app, that's my white labeled version of Go High Level, coffee chat, talk about the team or Grand John, talk about our team or joining Reel. They just click on it and it pulls up the calendar and it syncs with my calendar, what's available. So I'm stopping any sort of friction. I'm giving them options. I'm letting them pick the time. Nothing's worse than someone says, when you're playing this phone tag, like, hey, I'll meet with you on Tuesday. Great. What time? I don't know. Anytime after 2. How about 2:30? Actually, no, 3. Put the ball in their court. Let them decide. They schedule it. They get a reminder about the appointment. You get the reminder. By having calendars, you will add so much time to your day. And I don't know if you have gray hair or not. If you do have gray hair, it's going to turn back to whatever natural color it is. Because calendars have given me my life back. So love, love, love calendars. So I'm going to remove this and I'm going to go back to my slideshow. All right, so we show the follow-up. So the lead form, like I said, the lead comes in, goes into your system, and the goal is of the lead signing up on your lead form is to get an appointment. That's kind of what I mentioned before. And then your calendar is going to remove your scattered day, like waking up, like, oh, what do I do today? To a very structured day. You know exactly. So if you've got a meeting with Joe and Susie later on, you're prepared for it. You boom, boom, boom. And also, too, this is what I let people know. Don't let people book a time with you like 5 minutes in the future. Keep them responsible. You know what? If somebody wants to book a consultation with you, make them wait 12 hours. That way you can prepare. That way you can be ready. Don't let other people dictate your calendar. Seriously. Moral of the story, don't do that. So this here should be what your tech stack should look like. Lead comes in, so probably a lead form. Maybe it's off Google, maybe it's off Facebook, or a landing page you've created. And then it goes into your CRM. Go High Level, Follow Up Boss, Boomtown, Lofty, whatever goes in there. Once they're in there, and again, this is all automated, by the way. This is all automated. CRM, and then it goes to follow up. So on top of like getting into your CRM, instantly triggers the follow up. And then the follow up's goal, again, to get that appointment. And once you have that appointment, I'm going to pretty much guarantee you're going to be the one they're going to work with, unless you don't show up or you show up late. And then, boom, they become a client. But then, in my opinion, when they become a client, you want to still keep propelling them to be a future client and a future referral partner and someone that's going to be in your corner, supporting you every waking minute. So the cool thing is, and you're probably sitting on this webinar wondering why you signed up for it. Everything that you're struggling with right now, it is fixable. It just boils down to structure. And it seems complicated, but it's really not. It's really not. You know, if nothing else, I'd say go to YouTube University. It's the best thing you can learn. But it's 100% fixable. And I'm not promoting myself, but if you ever need help, you know, I'm willing to step in and assist. But, you know, there you go. So there's a person on our team, I'm not going to say her name. She's in her 30s. She's got 3 kids. She's very successful, does about 30 deals a year. And she looks like she has her shit straight. But she came to me about 3 weeks ago and said, like, hey, I need help with my systems. I'm so busy right now that I have no idea what's going on. And she has to manually do everything. So imagine having 3 kids and manually doing everything. And I asked her, I'm like, are you missing things? She's like, hell yeah. And usually when you're missing things, you're missing opportunities. You're missing follow-up. You're missing ways to impress your clients. Your ways to make your clients into raving fans. So we sat down and I broke down and I looked like where are the leaks in her system? And she had leaks. And then we put together a process of like how to fix that, right? How things can talk and how to automate certain things. And she was doing so many things manually that it doesn't move your needle. You know, hire a TC if nothing else. It's doing things that she shouldn't be doing because they aren't money producing things as a realtor. Your chiropractor or your doctor is not sitting at the front of the door, greeting people, then running behind the counter, checking you in, and then putting on a nurse outfit, and then like bringing you back, checking your blood pressure, and then becoming the doctor, and then running back and checking you out again. No, there's systems in place. You need to have leverage. You need to have systems. So with her, it's been great. We're still working on it. She's got a ways to go, but she's already seeing the fruits of her labor. This is something where I want you to honestly think about, and you don't have to put it in the comments, but you should either take a picture of this screen or write it down. And if you want to send it to me later, go right ahead. I'd love to see it. But you want to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 is a complete shit show. You have no idea what's going on. 10, you're dialed in. You're just dialed in. You can't improve. You're so darn good that it doesn't matter. You're awesome, right? So go through and just rate yourself and be honest with you, because if you email this to me, what your scores are, I potentially could help you, right? And then, or at least you know where your weaknesses are, because you need all of these 6 systems: lead generation, CRM, follow-up, visibility/marketing, your conversion, and then structure, calendar, owning your day. I'm going to take a little sip of water. I'll let you guys score it. Okay, here we go. And then this is something where I'm old enough and been in the business long enough. We get sold garbage all the time. Real estate agents are the biggest suckers for investing in systems that don't work. So you don't need more info. You don't need more tools. You don't need more systems. You just need structure, right? You probably already have everything you need. You just need to dial it in, because information does not equal implementation. Information does not equal implementation. And I think our industry has a huge deficit of implementation. A lot of great ideas out there, a lot of good information, but you need to implement it. And that's where the structure comes in. So where do I start, David? You automate these 3 things first: your follow-up, lead capture, and your booking. So really, it doesn't sound that daunting. And I kind of showed you the follow-up. You probably already have it in your system, that you just don't know, or you're not using your CRM correctly. Lead capture, well, maybe you're getting team leads or getting leads from somewhere else, but you should also be generating your own leads. Use lead capture sources. And then booking. Got to have your calendar. Got to have your calendar. So here's your core tech stack. This is what I would recommend if you have no systems in place whatsoever, and you want to invest a little bit of, and you should invest in your business. This will make you money. Not going to lie to you. So visibility, your Google business profile. That's free. If you don't have one, go to my meetdavidnelson.com, go under the freebies, and there's a Google business checklist. You need to have a Google business profile. Google owns YouTube. Google owns Gemini. Gemini is taking over the AI world. In the future, websites probably won't be as prominent. People are going to their phones and saying, hey, Gemini, find me a realtor near me. Well, guess where that information is going to come from? Google. And if you're not on Google, no one's ever going to find you. This is the cross that I bear and I will die on. Speaking of Easter, Google business profile is something you need to have dialed in. Oh my God. And I know some of you on here probably already got my download that I offered yesterday. If not, just send me a message and I'll send it to you. It's really, it's going to go through your Google business page. Next, your CRM. I put Go High Level because I love Go High Level, as you can see, because it does more things than just one. But your CRM, maybe it's Boomtown, Lofty, Follow Up Boss. You need to have a CRM. Today's modern business, and we are all business people, if you're not using your CRM, you are failing. And then then content. ChatGPT or Gemini. I'm actually leaning more towards Gemini, and Canva. So that's the tech stack. And I'm not going to go deep into Canva and ChatGPT because that's a whole nother gamut. But the main thing is Go High Level. You need to have this to go and get more business. And what this does, it creates flow. You're creating content gets seen gets down to your CRM. Awesome. And then it goes, you build more content. And then maybe when they're in your CRM, they're getting content from you. So it's an ongoing system. So do the right things in the right order. Create content. Maybe it's social media, really powerful social media. You have a Google business profile. Both of these are free. You should be doing these. CRM, follow-up and appointments. Go High Level. Same thing. Boomtown, Follow Up Boss, Lofty. They do all this. And then turns into a client. If you're missing one of these things, you'll never get to the client. I didn't say never. Luck will get you to your client. You still need all that stuff right there. So I'm wrapping up here. You really want to ignore the noise. Real estate's full of noise. There's too many tools out there. Trust me, I've probably tested them all, but there's no progress. If you could just dial in a few things, and again, if you're just looking where to start, and if you have nothing in your back pocket, I would highly recommend Go High Level. And if that interests you, just send me a message and I'll talk with you. This is so much noise in real estate. You know, if I had $1 every time somebody said, hey, if you just close one deal, it'll pay for the system in itself, I never trust that. And if you've heard that, give me a thumbs up, because I know I'm not the only one. So next month, it's a whole year-long session. I'm doing every month I'm doing a live webinar, and then every week I'm doing a Facebook Live, where the Facebook Live is more generally kind of just giving you the taste and kind of what's coming up all the time. Yep. I hear you, Mark. So next month's live webinar is going to be on not invisibility, on visibility. How to market, how to get out there, how to not be that secret agent, right? That's awesome. So what I would recommend is I will send you the link to register for next month when I get the landing page done in Go High Level that you can register for. But also every Thursday, 10 a.m. Facebook Live, I go through this stuff. I've committed to 52 weeks. I want people to hold me accountable. Boom. So every week is a different topic every week. But next month will be on visibility. So I hope to see you there. Last question for you guys. And some people have dropped off, which I'm totally fine with. Drop it in the chat. What is your first move? And remember, you don't need to do everything, right? I love technology. I think I'm really good at technology. I actually teach technology to other brokerages. You don't have to be me. You just need to start. So comment what we learned today. What is going to be your first move? And when you post that, you put it out in the universe, and hopefully I and everybody else here will hold you accountable. Because, you know, I can say, oh, I'm on a diet, I want to lose weight, but if I don't tell anybody, no one's holding me accountable. So what's your first move? I want to hear something. I'm just salivating. So questions. This is where you can pop in questions. I have 3 minutes to answer questions. I'm going to go through and see if I have any questions that I missed. A lot of comments. Awesome. Love it. Love it. Love it. And 2, make sure you click the, yes, Dustine, verifying your business. That is one of the hardest things right now with Google, because Google right now is flooded with people. There's 2 things that's causing this. A lot of people doing home-based businesses. And then the second one is a lot of not so nice people are stealing people's online business accounts. So they want to verify it. Download, and I think I sent that to you. Download that guide on how to verify. And if you want to talk more, let me know. You need to verify. The trick for getting verified, forget the video. You just gotta, and I gotta find that number again. I found a number in Google. I actually called them. I spoke with somebody, and they walked me through how to do it. And then they called me back via the Google app. They sent me a link. I had to go, and it was a secure link, and I had to go through, and I had to show my vehicle, my license. I had to prove that my vehicle is running. I had to show that I had a business card. Just things proving that I was a real business at my address. So yeah, it's a pain. You're not the only one. Yes, Mark, you do need that follow-up workflows. If you're in the market for just collecting leads and not doing anything with it, that's real estate. But if you wanted to collect leads and do something with them and convert them, you need follow-up. Workflows are awesome. And if you want a secret, go into ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude and type in create a workflow follow-up system, including text and email for a new lead that signed up to look at houses, whatever. It'll create that stuff for you. You just copy and paste it. There's very few little information anymore that's not new. Jimmy, I'm glad. Yeah, Google Business Verified and update CRM, and gotta go. Yeah. I would say, everybody, your goal is to get your Google Business Verified. Get that going. That's free. It's free leads, my friends. 2 to 3 deals a year. The one I have, my listing right now, it's coming soon. The one in Bloomington, because I market to Bloomington, is listed at $560,000. I went into that appointment and I always ask, hey, how'd you find me? And they're like, oh, we Googled best realtors in Bloomington. And I was like, oh, and they're like, yeah, you're number 2. And I was like, that's great. And I guessed who number 1 was because I knew. But they didn't know that I just moved to Bloomington in 2019. They didn't know that I've only been in 2 or 3 transactions within Bloomington, but I had a very strong Google presence. And then also when they went to my Google profile, I had the keywords. I had all these things. So Google pushed me up there because I did the right things. So you do need to verify your Google business. And yes, Dustine, hang on to the ghosted leads. Keep following up, but automate it. Too many people are putting a lot of time and energy into low leads right now. No, you got to automate that. If you just focused on your 50 best people and work them, you would have more business and you know what to do with. But agents love to chase these leads and waste time. That's why you have to automate. Automate. Send them daily, homes for sale or whatever it is. Automate. And Dustine, our team has follow-up boss. So that's some pretty cool stuff in there. All right. Any more? Yeah. Any more questions? Otherwise, I'm going to hop off here and enjoy the rest of the day. And hopefully you have an awesome weekend. Good luck selling. If you ever need anything else from me, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, email me. I'll post my email. Yeah, I'm here to help. Yes, you're welcome, Julie. Thank you for coming. Julie, I'm sure the weather's nice in Florida right now. But anyways, have an awesome day. Appreciate you all. Talk soon.